Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good morning. We continue with our another session of English language for competitive exams and purposes. Today we are going to continue with our exercises in vocabulary, and some of the things that we will be doing today. I will be giving you choosing the correct meaning. So, the word that approximates closest in meaning to the given word, word meaning, confusable words. So, all this is part of today's talk. So, without wasting much time, let us move on. Look at the first slide here. Choose the correct meaning. Exercise. Mores. Mores is addition, nationality or given choices. Pick up the best choice, please. Addition, nationalities, customs and conflicts. Nebulous. Is it starry, cloudy, intoxicated or clear? Obsolescence, destruction, opposition, consolation, going out of use. Opulent, soothing, wealthy, hopeful, attacking. Panacea, cure-all, vital organ, oceanic island, international agreement. Penurious, poor, imprisoned, stingy, hardly. Peremptorily, promptly, decisively, exorbitantly, thoroughly. Prelate, army officer, geometric curve, college head, church official. Presage, grow old, publicize, send ahead, predict. Proxy, neighbor, precedent, fraud, substitute. Pungent, pugnacious, erasing, biting, wild. Chaotic, fleet-footed, visionary, protective, foreign. Renegade, partisan, villain, deserter, adherent. Resin, confirm, go back, change, cancel. Restive, quiet, patient, resisting, submissive. Seminar, graduate course of study, conservatory, agricultural board or sewing circle. Shale, is it a type of rock? Head covering, oil or fish. Truckle, convey, domineer, drag along, yield submissively or subserviently. Endurate, burn in, suffer, grow hard, promise. Intransigent or intransigent, complex, uncompromising, sleepless and travelling. Kiln, pot, small cave, crate and large oven. Laconic, statuesque, terse, talkative and lingering. Lave, is it heat, dislike, wash or defeat. Logistics, results, diplomacy, reasoning, supplying and quartering troops. Lucubrate, polish, oil, illuminate, study hard. Mean, is it compromise, Chinese, was, bearing, that is option C, or D, anger. Mimicry, imitation, B, shouting, C, plant, D, insect. Mult, A, think over, B, soften with, C, sow pasture and D, take away by trickery. We have already done nebulous. Neophyte, A, B, C, D, branch, beginner, warrior, limb. Nexus, is it insect, vein, link or neighbor? Give yourself some time, open your dictionaries. If you have friends here with you, you can discuss your answers with your friends as well. Remember, in this initial stage of learning, you need not hesitate about asking any help from any direction or any source, whether it is a dictionary or your friend. So, no harm in discussing your answers or asking for help, but learn it in a way that it remains in your minds when you eventually appear for exams. So, let us discuss now the answers. Now, modes, we had 4 choices: addition, and I have a suspicion that many of you would have marked this answer addition, because we always say I want more, and that means additionally, but that is not the correct answer. So, please remember that. Nationalities, no. Customs and conflicts, can you decide between the two, customs or conflicts? And modes. Now, generally we use modes, it is a higher order vocabulary and it is in plural. See, it is not more, but mores with an S. So, it means the cultural excesses, okay, or cultural, when we say modes, societal modes, we mean the way a society or a culture function. So, it has got everything to do with customs. So, C, customs is the best answer. Please let me repeat for you, modes, the exact answer is C, customs. It is not more, for you to write, for you to confuse it with addition. Nebulous is cloudy. Okay. So, it is a very poetic word, nebula, it derives itself. So, cloudy is the word, is the right meaning. Obsolescence, now destruction, it is a difficult word, I understand. So, destruction, opposition, consolation. Now, you have to think of it the way it reads. There is a word called obsolete. Okay? Let me write it for you. O-B-S-O-L-E-T-E. When something becomes obsolete, it means going out of fashion, or it is no longer trendy, it is no longer in use. So, that is the meaning of obsolescence, going out of use. And remember, obsolete. We say obsolete word, words that are no longer used. Obsolete customs, customs which should not be or are not used. Languages can also become obsolete. Now, opulent should be easy. Opulent is not soothing, hopeful or attacking, exact meaning is wealthy. I was taken aback by the opulence of the cathedral. I was taken aback by the opulence of the wedding, or at the wedding. I was taken aback by the opulent surroundings of the palace or of the castle. I went to Buckingham Palace and I was overwhelmed by the by its opulent environment. Okay, so, something that reeks of or smacks of wealth. Panacea is a cure all. Panacea, sorry, to all ills, that is the way you use. So, this could be the panacea to all ills, to all the problems. It is a cure, it is a remedy, it is a treatment. It is not vital organ, ocean island or international agreement, the other choices. Remember panacea. Penurious, poor, imprisoned, stingy, hardly. The right choice is poor, poverty stricken. So, penurious. Peremptorily, it is promptly, decisively, exorbitantly or thoroughly. Right answer is B, decisively. Peremptory command. All right. Next is prelate. A, army officer, B, geometric curve, C, college head, and D, church official. Best answer is church official. Prelates are generally used, the word is used in association with people who work at a church. Presage is grow old, publicize, send ahead, or predict. The best answer is D, predict. Heavy clouds presage rainfall. Okay, so you predict something. I presage that there will be some kind of unrest after this announcement or after this declaration. So, you are presaging, you are predicting. Proxy is by substitute. So, the exact answer is D, it is not neighbor. Neighbor means, do not get confused, proximity. I live in proximity with someone. So, you are in a neighborhood. It has got nothing to do with presidency or fraud, or the best answer is substitute, of course, to rule something by proxy. So, substitute. Pungent is it is a pungent smell, something that affects you directly or affects you very forcefully. So, the best answer is biting here. The best choice here is biting, extremely, something that affects you with extreme force. Chaotic, now the word comes from Quixote. And who was Don Quixote? It is the eponymous novel by Miguel de Cervantes, a Spanish writer, who wrote the novel Don Quixote, where the hero is an eccentric. And so, kind of an eccentric, he wants to change things, he wants to sort of leave a mark in the world by his activities. So, chaotic over the word is derived from Don Quixote, and it has down the years, down the centuries, it has come to be associated with someone who is a visionary, and exact meaning is eccentric or extremely idealistic. So, that is your chaotic. It is not fleet footed, it is not protective, it is not foreign. Foreign is exotic. Chaotic, eccentric, visionary, idealistic. Renegade is a deserter, it is a negative word. Chaotic is also a negative word, so always remember that if you have to choose that way, remember that chaotic is generally used negatively, but it can also be in an affectionate way. Your chaotic announcements or your chaotic methods, eccentric, but it is not as negative as a renegade, deserter. Other meanings, partisan, villain and adherent are not applicable. Rescind is cancel, you rescind an act. The earlier government declared something, the present government rescinded it, so cancelled it. Choices conform or confirm or go back and change do not really matter here. Seminar is a graduate course of study, it is not conservatory, agricultural board or sewing circle. Seminar is it's a seminar course, it is a very commonly used word, particularly in institutes of higher education. Shale is a type of rock. Some of us may get confused with that this is a kind of a fish, but it is not. Shale and shawl is covering, so head covering, so do not get confused. Shale is a type of rock, a sedimentary rock, those of you who are interested in geology, geography. Truckle is to yield subserviently, truckled along, someone, someone who just went along with whatever was happening. So, convey, domineer, drag along and to accept something subserviently. Indurate is to grow hard. So, for example, a proud mind, a crafty wit, an indurate heart, heart that has grown hard. It is not burn or suffer, a promise. So, indurate, exact meaning is option C, grow hard, indurate hard, okay, or indurate heart as in hard hearted, Intransigent is uncompromising. So, other choices, complex and traveling and all, they do not matter. Is the best choice is uncompromising. Kin is a large oven or furnace like thing. It is not a pot or a cave or crate. Laconic is terse. Generally we say laconic response, terse response. Its opposite is talkative. Lingering and statuous do not matter here. So, confusion should arise between terse and talkative. Talkative is the opposite of laconic. Either you are terse or you talk a lot. So, you it is a talkative. So, it is the opposite. Lave is to wash, heat, dislike, defeat. No, lave is wash. Logistic is, or logistics rather, supplying and quartering troops. So, we often decide the logistics of organizing something. It is a military word, but now it has come to be accepted, to form a part in corporate circles and even in academic institutions. We do not have, we have to plan the logistics of it. So, supplying and quartering troops. It is not result or diplomacy or reasoning. Lucubrate, now this is going to be very confusing, it is not lubricate. So, therefore, it is not oil, it is not polish, though it may look very, at first glance this may confuse you. Lubricate, oil or polish. Lucubrate is to study hard. Mean is a compromise or Chinese ways or bearing off or anger. The right option is bearing of cautious mien. M-I-E-N pronounced as mean, not mien, and of cautious mien, of careful mien, that is a bearing, a personality that is cautious. That is it's a when we say cautious mien, we are trying to say that someone who has a personality of being very cautious. So, mien is bearing or personality type. Mimicry, most of us are aware of this, is imitation, it is not shouting, it is not plant or insect. Mult is to take away by trickery. Please remember this word, to take away something from somebody by trickery. Neophyte is a beginner. We often say this one is a neophyte. You can have a neophyte actor, you can have a neophyte cricketer, just a beginner, not a warrior. Okay. Nexus is collaboration, link. Generally, we say it in a negative connotation. So, it is not insect, vein or neighbor, it is a link, collaboration. Now, we have done choosing the correct answer or response. Now, we are going to move on to something else altogether, words that can be confusable. So, first set, tortuous and torturous. I will write it for you. Tortuous, tortuous. What's the difference? Tortuous is long winding, sometimes I read tortuous paragraphs, a sentence that goes on and on and on and on, it is twisting, it is tortuous. Sometimes we also say this lane, the roads are tortuous, they may be torturous, but there is something, they are not exactly the same. Torturous is painful, it made for a tortuous reading. So, tortuous sentences make for torturous reading, you can say that as well. But please note the difference in meanings and difference in spellings. Tortuous is winding or twisting, not winding. Exact spelling is W-I-N-D, but it is not winding, it is winding. When we say long winding, it is tortuous, it goes on and on and on. Torturous, painful. Next set, turbid, T-U-R-B-I-D, and turgid, T-U-R-G-I-D. So, turbid is muddy. Okay. clouded, turbid water, turbid lake. Turgid is solemn and pompous, it is a way, it is a personality. Solemn, inflated, turgid head, pompous personality. Next set, unexceptionable and unexceptional. Something that is unexceptionable is above reproach. No objection or exception can be taken to it, but unexceptionable is something very ordinary. Unexceptional. So, first word unexceptionable, meaning is beyond reproach. You can't take any objection to it or exception to it. Unexceptional means something which is very ordinary. There is no, it's unexceptional. Exceptional opposite unexceptional. Next set, venal and venial. You may want to note the spellings. This is V-E-N-A-L, venal, V-E-N-I-A-L. Venal, that can be bought or bribed, corrupt. Venial is forgivable, excusable, trivial. Forgive my venial sins. Venal is something sometimes misused for venial. But remember how to differentiate. Venial is trivial. If you associate that, venial, trivial. Venal, harmful, corrupt, someone who takes bribe, poisonous. Venial is trivial, okay? Something which is very ordinary. Next set is acrid, A-C-R-I-D, and acrimonious. Acrimonious. Both come from the same Latin root and mean hitter, but acrid is reserved for taste or smell and acrimonious for quarrels or discussions. Acrimonious quarrel, acrid smell. Next is aggravate and annoy. Now, aggravate is used in the sense of making a situation worse. Do not aggravate the situation by writing such mails. Already there is lot of situation is acrimonious. Do not aggravate the situation. Okay? Alleviate or annoy is to irritate someone. Alleviate is the opposite of aggregate or aggravate. Aggravate means to add something, to make something more worse, to make something worse or more severe. We do not say more worse. So, to make something worse or more severe. Opposite is alleviate. Aggravate pain and opposite is to alleviate pain. Alleviate comes from the word levis, which is light, L-I-G-H-T, and gravis is heavy. Many use the word aggravate when they really mean annoy or irritate. Be careful, there is a difference in the intensity. Next set of words, ambiguous and equivocal. Ambiguous and equivocal. Sometimes people use these words interchangeably to mean having two or more possible interpretations. So, ambiguous is going off into ambiguous directions. Equivocal is equal voice or double talk. Ambiguity is always unintentional, equivocation is purposeful. The writing is quite ambiguous. Character of the hero is quite ambiguous. We do not know whether it is good or bad. Equivocation, purposeful, intended to deceive. Ambiguity is not really supposed to deceive. Remember, an ambiguous statement is made by someone who does not know how to make himself clear, while an equivocal statement is made by someone who does not want to make himself clear, who wants to use double talk, very diplomatic. Opposite of ambiguous, unambiguous. Opposite of equivocal, unequivocal. Ambiguous opposite is also very clear. So, that is the opposite. Something is ambiguous or something is very clear, crystal clear. Anybody can be ambiguous, you have to be clever to be equivocal. Okay? Remember, that is the way. So, diplomats, international diplomats, the way they make their statement, they are not being ambiguous, they are being equivocal. EQUIVOCAL. Next set of words, imply and infer. Imply is to suggest indirectly, insinuate. This is another good word you should know, insinuate, favorite of many exam takers. Nuate. What are you trying to insinuate? What are you trying to imply? Infer is to draw conclusion, to deduce. I infer. Scientific language generally says infer, the inference is. Imply is to insinuate. There is a difference. When we infer, we are concluding something, mostly unequivocally. Next set of words, obfuscation and obscurantism. OBFUSCATION, obscurantism, OBSCURANTISM. Now, obscurantism is very strong. To obfuscate means to darken where there is already some light and thus confuse and bewilder. To confuse someone, obfuscate is therefore the act of confusing others or the state of being confused yourself, and obscurantist is one who wants to keep things dark, obscure. You know what is obscure? Obscure is something which is not very clear. Someone who strives to prevent enlightenment is opposed to progress. The word is often used to describe someone who is bigoted and reactionary. Obscurantism therefore means a bigoted opposition to enlightenment. Next is prone and supine. They are used interchangeably, which is incorrect. These words should be seen from like opposites. Prone is flat, thrown forward, flat on one's face. So, prone to do some things. Prone, I am prone to, let me think of a good example for you. So, perhaps you know my brother is prone to sleep late at nights. There is a tendency. Supine is lying on one's back, inactive. So, prone, lying face downward, which can be used in any way, and supine is lying on one's back. Other word is that is a literal meaning, but it is also inactive. I will repeat it for you. So, prone literally means flat on one's face. It also means a tendency to prone to do something. Supine literally is lying on one's back. Other meaning is inactive. Supine tendencies, supine way of behaving, so inactive. We will move on to do some synonyms and also some antonyms. So, my first word to you is intrepid today. Intrepid, which is an adjective, INTREPID. Trepidus is a Latin word which means alarmed or agitated. In, of course, is a prefix and negative prefix. So, something who is not to be frightened, fearless, undaunted. Intrepidity is adverb. Other synonyms for this are adventurous, for intrepidity, adventurous, audacious, bold. Okay, so, intrepid is your adjective. So, courageous, dauntless, fearless, heroic, adventurous I have already told you, resolute, undaunted, valiant, valorous. So, these are your synonyms for intrepid. Opposite or an antonym for intrepid would be trepidation. Okay, so, I have hesitated, but we do not say trepid. So, antonym for intrepidity is afraid or fear, or rather intrepid, opposite of intrepid is afraid, apprehensive, cowardly, craven, cringing, fearful. See, that is fearless, this is fearful, frightened, pusillanimous, timid, timorous. Remember, both these words come from trepidation and intrepid come from the same root, trep, T-R-E-P. So, intrepidity and trepidation. Next word, irrevocable, irrevocable, I-R-R-E-V-O-C-A-B-L-E. It is a Latin word which means unable to be recalled, beyond recall, final, unalterable, cannot be changed, irrevocable promise, irrevocable fate. It comes from the same root, VOC, which means revoke, invoke, evoke, provoke, avocation. Okay, so, that is the same root. What is avocation? Avocation is a calling away from one's regular profession, like a hobby. Next word is longevity. Longevity is it comes from the Latin word longus, okay, that is long, and aevum is age, A-E-V-U-M, age. Now, length of life, longevity, exact meaning, prolonged duration of life. It comes from the same root as ev, A-E-V, and other words are like covel, primeval, medieval. So, longevity and brevity is the opposite, short. Next word, minutiae. Minutiae, always used in plural form. Minutia is a smallness, insignificant. So, small details, insignificant details, trifles, precise details of small consequences, minutiae of this declaration or this agreement. Remember, they come from the same root as min or minu. So, you have other words from here, you like diminish, that is make smaller, diminutive, which is another adjective and means small. Diminutive is a noun, diminutive is an adjective, and all these things they point towards smallness. Next word is posthumous, very common word, Latin posthumus, latest or last. It is formed from preposition post. Posthumous refer to a late born child or the youngest child, and sometimes to a child born after the father's death. Okay. So, born after the death of the father, but sometimes we also use it in the sense of achieving something after death. Heath Ledger refused the Oscar award posthumously, right. So, after his death. We also have the same prefix post, yeah, posthumously, POST is the prefix suffix, I am sorry, prefix POST. So, we have other words like posterity, like generations that came after. So, using the prefix POST, from posthumous we have posterity. Preposterous is something contrary to reason, or quite, to make a preposterous remark means a silly remark, unbelievable remark. It is so silly that cannot be believed. And postern, POSTERN, is back gate or entrance. Next word is prescience. It is a noun, and prescient is an adjective with a T. Prescience is foreknowledge before, and SCIRE is a Latin word to know. So, knowledge of events before they happen, foresight, foreknowledge. Prescient is an adjective, okay, and omniscient is all knowing. Careless is someone who pretends to knowledge, yeah, added to what you know, additional, supplemental. And then next we have rudiment. Rudiment is usually found in the plural, okay, it means imperfect. A first principle of any discipline, an art or science, rudiments of maths, rudiments of any kind of knowledge. That which is yet in rudiments also, or rudimentary also means something which is yet in an undeveloped state. So, from the same root HUD. Erudite is freed from undevelopment. So, erudite, we call he is very erudite, very knowledgeable, erudition. So, learned and scholarly. Next word is succinct. Succinct, SUCC or CCINCT. It is an adjective to express something in few words, very brief, very concise. So, explain succinctly, do not overdo it. And opposite is synonym, or synonyms are for succinct, compact, concise, condensed, laconic. We have already done this. So, these are all synonyms. Succinct is brief and synonyms are compact, concise, condensed, say it in condensed form, abridged, summary, terse, laconic, pithy. Antonyms is diffuse, lengthy, loquacious, winding, right. We have done such words before. Verbose, wordy. So, all these mean going on and on. Next is vagary, VAGARY. Is quite an obsolete kind of a word. Nowadays it means an eccentric or extravagant notion. It also means roaming about, but it in an obsolete form. Roaming around meaning has become obsolete. Nowadays we use it to suggest that something is eccentric. Synonyms are capricious, fanciful, quirky, chaotic, whimsical. Okay, so thank you very much, and we will continue with more exercises in our next class.